Welcome everyone to the final presentation of the Library of Congress Pavilion stage. And welcome to the 23rd Annual Library of Congress National Book Festival, a place where everyone has a story. At this time, we ask that you turn off or silence your phones. The restrooms are located over your left shoulder, over in the corner. We also want to notify you that this event is being recorded and your entry and presence at this program constitutes your consent to be filmed or otherwise recorded. Our final presentation today is from Jason Yasner, the Deputy Director of the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, and you will learn more about how readers of all ages can benefit from the National Library Service and its services, and can continue to explore the joy of reading regardless of disabilities. So Jason, take it away.
Thank you so much, everybody, and welcome. Thanks for coming to the National Book Festival. This is one of the greatest events that Washington, D.C. puts on. And just to let you know, my name is Jason Yasner. I'm the Deputy Director of NLS, which I'll explain in a second. I have been at the library for 29 years, which is crazy since I'm only in my early 30s. But anyway, it is very, it's great to have you all here, and I really appreciate you getting a chance to listen to me and learn about one of the greatest programs at the Library of Congress. So NLS, an accessible library. So what is NLS? NLS is the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, and it's a free library service for people with, and I'll read these in case someone can't read them, temporary or permanent low vision, blindness, a physical disability that prevents them from holding a book or turning a page, or another print disability such as dyslexia that prevents reading or using regular print materials. So NLS, what we call it as an abbreviation, has been a part of the Library of Congress since 1931. And once again, this is one of the greatest programs that the library provides to Americans who need this service. So, as I said, in 1931, a law was passed with a focus on serving the many World War I veterans who lost their vision in active service. So before then, there was a reading room for the blind that was located downtown on Capitol Hill at the Library of Congress, but you had to be in person, you had to come to the building, you had to go into the reading room, you had to request Braille material. It wasn't exactly a nationwide service for all the people who couldn't afford and didn't live near Washington, D.C. So after several years, and because of World War I, Congress passed the law to create the National Library Service. Since 1931, it's been expanded. So now we are able to serve children, people with physical disabilities. We have a music section that provides music materials, and we also have playback equipment. So not only are you getting books and magazines and other types of content in accessible format, we will give you a player as well if you need it. So, I've got some questions here. Let's see if I can get the right answer. Which famous American testified in the hearings that established the National Library Service? Does anybody have a guess? Yes. Alexander Graham Bell. That's a good guess. Very good guess. Anybody else? Yes, sir. I'm sorry? Helen Keller. It was Helen Keller. Thank you. I have no prize for you. But I really appreciate it. Helen Keller, indeed, obviously one of the most famous blind Americans in history. Everything she did was to provide better service for those who needed this type of service. All right, Helen Keller studied at the Perkins School for the Blind, an institution that still partners with NLS to serve our readers. In which state? What state does the Perkins School for the Blind reside in? Sir? Kentucky. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else besides Kentucky? All right, it's in Massachusetts. There it is. It's in Massachusetts. Anyway, Perkins has been around for a very long time. One of our most endeared partners here at NLS. So, services. As I said, we're a library. We're a national library. We're like the public library that you would go to in your community. Only it's at a national level, and it's for people that can't read the printed word, hold a book, turn a page, etc., etc. So we offer books and magazines in audio and braille that can be instantly downloaded and played on a personal smart device, such as an iPhone or an iPad or a computer. Or mailed to readers free of charge. We do realize that a lot of our patrons may not be technically savvy. They may not have an iPhone or another type of smartphone, and so we provide a player, and they get their books and magazines on a USB cartridge, and that cartridge is mailed to them. They listen to the book, they mail the cartridge back, and that's how they get their reading material. We are expanding more because we feel there are a lot of people out there that could benefit from this service. And if they have an iPhone, they can become any type of smartphone device. They can become immediate patrons if they qualify and have immediate access to the entire collection and not have to wait for a cartridge to come in the mail. So, NLS services provided through 97 cooperating libraries across the United States and its territories, with at least one library in every state. So NLS, think of NLS here in Washington, D.C. as kind of like the headquarters, and they're like a hub, and then there are spokes in the wheel. And so every single state and territory, including Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, all have at least one cooperating network library. And most of our patrons are interacting with that library, like going to your community library, and they're interacting with that library and dealing with the reader advisors there, getting their content, their books, etc., through their network library. So this is one of the ways and reasons that this service can work, because this is a handshake that has been going on since 1931 between federal government and state government. I doubt very much that you could spin up a similar type agreement these days, considering, all the craziness of government. But anyway, this is a shining example of people working together for a common cause. Residents anywhere in the U.S. or territories are U.S. citizens living overseas. And so, as I said, Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, we serve U.S. residents there. Many U.S. people live outside the United States. Maybe they work for the State Department. Maybe they're expats in another country. We have an overseas service that also provides service to them. Once again, people with permanent or temporary disabilities, we serve a lot of veterans, and a lot of veterans, may come back from some of their injuries. They may only need temporary service to continue reading. We provide that service to them. People with low vision or blindness, so you don't have to be completely blind to use our service. If you have trouble reading and you are certified, you can be eligible for NLS service. So don't think it's just for blind people. This isn't just for your grandmother or great-grandmother who lost her vision. This is for people of all ages that can benefit from this service. And as I said, preferences, given the references, it's in our original law from 1931. We make sure that if references qualify for service, they go to the top of the list. Benefits of service. This is free. Now, you probably are aware of other services such as Amazon Audible, where you can download books. You can purchase commercial books from publishers, Bookshare, Learning Ally. There are a whole bunch of things out there, and they're all great. We have no problem with any of them. But this is a federal government program. It is free. We want to make sure everyone understands that. And if you qualify for the service, it is free for you. We'll never charge you any money for it. The cooperating at NLS libraries provide additional services and programming and work collaboratively with local libraries. As I said, it's the network libraries around the country and the territories. They're on the front lines. They're the ones that are dealing directly with patrons face-to-face or through the mail or email or phone. So it's very, very important that this agreement, this network is constantly supporting the patrons. We couldn't do it without them. Libraries provide technical support and reading recommendations. So many of you go to a library and you want to know, hey, you know, what's come in? I like science fiction. What's new in science fiction? What do you think I should read? The network libraries are the ones that are providing these reader advisor services. You know, there are services that are available, like recommendations. You know, maybe when you buy something on Amazon, it says you bought this, other people also bought this and bought something else. Network libraries are providing that type of reader advisory services. More benefits, our collection, hundreds of thousands of titles, including latest bestsellers, classics, books about disability, etc., and many titles that are not available otherwise in audio and Braille formats. So remember, we're providing audio books and we're also providing Braille, digital Braille as well as hard copy Braille. Audiobooks have enhanced navigation and additional content that would not be included in commercial audiobooks. We like to call our books talking books as opposed to audiobooks. We get audiobooks from many, many publishers out there, and what we do is we put them through the NLS process, which adds additional navigation and additional features that make it much easier for our patrons to navigate through the book. Stop at a chapter, go back, move forward a couple chapters, etc. Many commercial audiobooks do not have those features. So we make sure that when a book becomes an NLS book, an NLS talking book, it is ready for our patrons, and it's the easiest it can be to navigate and to read. Right, more benefits. No waiting lists for titles and no limit on the time that a patron can keep a book. So we all know we've all taken books out of libraries and we've all kept them too long or lost them, and then you come back and you've got fees. There have been plenty of jokes. In fact, there was a Seinfeld episode that was based on long fees. I think Jerry took out Tropic of Cancer in the 70s and he owed something like $10,000 in library fees. That's not going to happen at NLS. You get the book, you keep it as long as you want to. Read it, reread it, etc. When you send it back to us, you send it back to us. Long-term loan of playback equipment, including refreshable Braille displays and digital talking book machine. As I mentioned, if you are not technically savvy and you don't have a smartphone to use our mobile app, we will send you a digital talking book machine that will play the audiobooks for you on cartridge. That is on long-term loan. In other words, you get it, let's say you get it when you're 50 years old, and when you pass away in your 90s, you have that machine your entire life. We do ask that when you don't want the machine or need the machine anymore, that it's sent back and it goes back into inventory. Refreshable Braille displays. Not sure whether you're familiar with that, but there is an incredibly cool device that will display digital Braille. So you're probably all familiar with Braille, hard copy Braille, raised dots on paper. Digital Braille is a small digital file, and if it's given to a refreshable Braille device, the device has dots in it, and the dots will rise and fall as the person is reading. It's absolutely amazing. And actually, I invite you, the NLS table is right behind here, a little bit to the left. You'll see big NLS there, and we have examples. We've got hard copy Braille, digital talking book machine, our refreshable Braille displays. Please go over there and check it out, because it's absolutely amazing what technology can do to help people read. So, besides the talking book machine, we give out refreshable Braille displays for those people that want to read Braille digitally. One thing about hard copy Braille, it's very big, it's heavy. If let's say there are 3 volumes in a particular title, you know, you can see 3 different books. In Braille, that might be 9 or 12 or 15 different books because it's so much bigger. So people can have digital Braille files on their Braille display, and you can have thousands of titles on your Braille display. So you can build your own library without having to have a huge garage full of hard copy Braille. Truly amazing what technology has done. So once again, I invite you to come over to the NLS table after this. We also provide other types of services for those who are visually impaired. We have guides to magnifying devices, assistive technology. Assistive technology has made light years over the past decade or so. If you look at it, if you have an iPhone and you look at your accessibility features, you won't even believe what your phone can do now. So imagine if you're visually disabled, visually impaired, how these devices can support you. So we provide guides to show you how to access technology, and of course video games and other types of media for those who benefit from the service. We do a lot of programming, most in cooperation with our network libraries throughout the country, but we do a lot of web forums and training and all types of things, so our patrons are well informed. We teach seminars on how to use our materials, how to use our services, including our app, which is called BARD Mobile. BARD stands for Braille and Audio Reading Download. BARD, as was the name of William Shakespeare. It was a nickname or something he was referred to later on. We named our mobile app after Bard, Braille and Audio Reading and Download. So, here's another question. In partnership with the American Foundation for the Blind, NLS created the very first audiobooks in 1934, employing what new technology? What was the first talking book here in America? Guess? The gramophone. So the gramophone is a machine that plays the first talking book. So the long play record, or LP record. Now, I'm a big vinyl record collector. Some of you probably know what an LP record is. Some of you are maybe young and don't know what it is. But an LP record is the way, of course, music used to be given and sold to most of the population. Now, there's download. Maybe the battery's going out, I'm not sure. Now there's digital download. Now, of course, there were compact discs, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, originally in 1934, the LP record, the long play record, was used for talking books. So you can imagine, let's say you're getting the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. And you would get, thank you, and you would get that as a record or multiple records, because you can only put so much time on one side. I think it's like 18 minutes on one side of an LP. And you would have someone narrate it. So you would have someone that would be someone like me with a really beautiful voice, authoritative voice, and I would be narrating the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution. You would play the record, you'd flip it over, you'd take the next one, et cetera, et cetera. So back then, the talking book machine was a record player, a turntable, a gramophone. So pretty amazing how technology has moved forward. All right, other NLS resources. So we partner with other parts of the federal government, which once again is a great example of working together for a common purpose, a common theme. We have worked with the Department of the Treasury, specifically the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing, to distribute the iBill currency reader. So, for those of you who don't know, U.S. currency is not accessible to the blind. All of the bills are the same size. There's no braille on U.S. paper currency. So how does a blind person know whether they're holding a $1 bill, a $20 bill, or a $100 bill? Well, there are these different tricks. I know that lots of people learn how to fold them differently so that they understand. But anyway, BEP, the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing, actually provides what we call an iBill, and it's a currency reader. It's a little device, and we have them for display over here, and they're also free. And for someone who has a $1 bill, you put the $1 bill in the device, you press a button, and it says 1. You put a $5 bill, it says 5. So when I first saw this, I was like, oh, I'm going to stump this thing. So I pulled out a $2 bill. I love $2 bills. I'm one of these weirdos that collects $2 bills. I put the $2 bill in, and I was positive I was going to stump it. Nope, it said 2. And then I was like, okay, you want to play rough? Let's play rough. I had just been to the United Kingdom, England, and I had a £5 note. And I pulled out the £5 note, and I put it in the iBill reader, and I pressed the button, and it said error. So there you go. The thing is smarter than I am. So until the U.S. government and the Treasury makes accessible paper currency, we will continue to distribute this currency reader iBill. We also provide items for educators. I'm not sure whether you were here for my predecessor, Leanne Potter, who runs Teaching with Primary Sources at the Library of Congress. We are part of all that to make sure that teachers who have students who are visually disabled have access to the proper materials to help them teach. And of course, as I mentioned, we distribute music. We have the largest Braille music collection in the world. Instructional materials on, let's say, how to play the piano, how to play the guitar, but also sheet music. You would not believe how many musicians out there are visually disabled or even blind and can benefit from a music score and a music sheet music that's in Braille or even audio. So we have this service available as well. We have reference guides. As I mentioned, we want to provide reference for things such as assistive technology, veterans resources, all types of things. If you're a patron, you have access to a large group of reference guides for various topics. And because Spanish is one of the most important and largest spoken languages here in the United States, we are reaching out more, doing a lot more outreach to Spanish-speaking Americans. We have a dedicated Spanish website. We have Spanish speakers on staff who can take phone calls, answer emails, and things like that. We will continue to get materials and content in Spanish, and we're expanding to other languages as well. So, you want to learn more? If anything has piqued your curiosity, please, here are our websites, loc.gov/thatallmayread, loc.gov/NLS, or loc.gov/NLS/ES, Espanol, Spanish. We have a toll-free number, 888-NLS-READ. And of course, please get in touch with your NLS Cooperating Library. You have at least one in your state, wherever you are. In fact, the director of the Nebraska Talking Book Library is right back here. He's not looking at me right now. He's distracted, but this is Gabe Kramer, everybody. He is in our network, so he takes care of all of the NLS patrons that are in Nebraska. So we have dedicated souls like him throughout the country, making sure that our patrons get the material when they want it. Once again, just to repeat, we're on Facebook. We've got a simple email address, nls@loc.gov, and our 800 number. Once again, our table is right over here, right behind me. Several of my staff are over there and can demonstrate anything for NLS. I'm positive that all of you know someone who could benefit from this service. You have someone in your family or your neighborhood or your community, your church, someone that could benefit from talking books, audio books, and Braille. Please turn them on to NLS. It's free and it's for you. With that, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to take them. Sir?
Thank you. So I'm deaf and blind and a writer and a poet. And I write myself and I publish myself. I've written 2 books and I have them here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know if the Library of Congress has technology that can transcribe words to voice?
So text to speech is something that we absolutely are investigating for the future. We do have patrons who are deafblind. It's a small percentage, but we do serve them. We need to make sure anybody who has a visual disability or anybody who has the inability to read the printed word or hold a book or turn a page, we provide service for them. There are many different text-to-speech tools out there. Some of them are free on the internet, but if you're interested in contacting NLS directly, the email was nls@loc.gov. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to read for the blind. How do I get involved with that?
In other words, you'd like to be a narrator.
Yes, I would.
All right, well, please write us at nls@loc.gov. We do have narrators on staff, but we're always looking for different talent, and so we'll see whether we can match something up. But
Okay.
we would appreciate it.
Okay. There is a part two to this. I have been doing some investigation about it. Got in touch with a lady at, I think, the Martin Luther King Library,
Okay.
and I was supposed to be set up for an interview, and I have never been called back. So what's going on with that, I wonder?
Okay, well, the Martin Luther King Library is the DC Public Library. We're affiliated with that in that the DC Talking Book Library for the Blind is within the DC Public Library, MLK.
Yes.
So I'm not sure where you applied, whether you applied for them specifically, but I would reach out to the MLK Library directly. That's not the Library of Congress.
Oh, I see. Okay. But are they affiliated in any way with getting books from them or readers from them?
Well, as I said, so there are network libraries in every state and territory. So DC's library that takes care of the NLS patrons within the Washington, D.C. area is located at the MLK Library.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right.
Thank you. Ma'am, you have a question back here.
I just wanted to congratulate the gentleman who's deaf and blind and able to write a book.
Oh, exactly. Thank you. Ma'am.
Thank you so much for the presentation.
Sure.
I wanted to inquire, and maybe it's a bigger question, but I'll give you an example. Trying to help out a couple of different people who are currently in a nursing home, and they're trying to get a library card. Some of them are legally blind, and I definitely know about the NLS. They're in New York City, and I called the local library to ask about services, and it was incredibly difficult to the point where it basically said, like there were no services available for them. And I would just ask, oftentimes you get the wrong person who picked up the phone, just give you the wrong information, but generally speaking, what would be the correct answer?
Well, we do have what we call institutional accounts. And so we have we work with the Veterans Administration. There are retirement homes, there are nursing homes, and others that are part of the NLS network, as it were, and they provide services to their patrons, their residents. What I would suggest in this point, once again, reach out to NLS@loc.gov, write your story, and then we can get in touch with the Talking Book Library in New York State and see if they can help you with that. That's probably the fastest, easiest way. So once again, nls@loc.gov. You're welcome. Another question.
My question is, do you have a card with the contact information for the Library of Congress?
We absolutely do. Our table is right over there, the NLS table, and we can give you anything you need. We have it in, of course, Braille. So please stop by. All of you, if you have more information, something that I can't answer or haven't been able to answer, or you want to think of it later, please visit our NLS table right around the corner. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
What distinguishes the sheet music for visually impaired people from regular sheet music?
Well, the sheet music is in Braille. We also have sheet music that's large print. So once again, a lot of our patrons aren't necessarily 100% blind, but they could use large print. Now, I know as I'm getting older, the font on my phone keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because my arm isn't long enough. I can't see as well as I did. We provide large print material as well, but we do have music scores that are in Braille. And we have a video, I've seen this, where a man is playing, I think it's trumpet, maybe it's some sort of saxophone, and with his left hand he is reading the Braille music score, and with his right hand he's playing the instrument. And it is absolutely amazing to see. So please visit us online, visit our table to learn more about our music collection. Anything else? Well, you have been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much from NLS. Thank you from the Library of Congress. Thank you for visiting the National Book Festival. And as I said, NLS is right around the corner if you want to know more. Have a great evening.